Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to go through the Melbourne derby between the Stars and the Renegades and sort of give you, I hope, a little bit more of an insight into the reasons why a lot of these players holds, buys or sells, given the fixture, given their role, etc. As I don't feel like I really truly did that as well. In the last recap yesterday, I felt like I sort of just said these guys score. And so I really want to go into depth more so about the reasons behind all my thoughts about that individual player and how they sort of played last night. This game. But anyway, let's just jump into this video to give me the most time to explain to you guys my thoughts. So, Benny Duckett, 87. And I thought he batted really well, but he always feels like that conundrum of those batters, and I think Brain says this quite a lot as well as Horse and other content creators, is we really, these like 130, 140k more batters, you know, they can get a really good rock and get 0 or 1. I'm just trying to find another guy for that example. I mean, Dan Lawrence to a certain extent follows that exact same theory where look at Dan Lawrence and Ben Duckett. Ben Duckett had no points in the field and scored it all from the bat, whereas Dan Lawrence, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember how he got dismissed. Let me just double check that quickly. He was caught off his thigh pad, I think, with a slight inside edge onto his thigh pad for 2. You know, and that's just the big difference there. And that's why it's really, really difficult, I find, to actually purchase batters, because it sometimes isn't in their actual control. In the game scenario, sometimes they do just get a good ball that is almost unplayable. Sometimes you get a stunner of a catch, or sometimes you get sold down the river by a teammate. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge to someone that we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, so that's why Duckett is a really hard one to actually buy. And that's why he's been one that I've sort of stayed clear of. And I'm pretty sure everyone in the top 5% has stayed clear of. Because when I did that Wicketkeeper Twitter post, I believe he was only about 4% owned, give or take. And yeah, you can see this. This was, I think, right after the Maxwell drop. The 2 Melbourne sides, that was bad, that drop. That could be a season-defining drop. That could mean that the Renegades missed finals off that one drop catch, because that drop catch cost them the game. I don't think you see Cartwright be able to single-handedly get them home if there's another, 15 runs on the board needed alongside his 24 off 12, and another like 8 balls or so. I just don't think he gets home. They get home, and you can see here that like I was saying with Duckett, there's just no one has him in the top 1%, and the top 5%, I believe it's 4.7% own him. So he's just not owned for that reason, because we're all sort of clued in on that point of these guys go large, but they're batters only. Paris, he's been a real up and down, I think, performer, to be honest with you, if I remember correctly. Actually, no. 39... 52 and now a 77. He's actually been pretty good. It's just come at the wrong point of the season. And if he'd done this in like round 1, 2, and 3 in the Melbourne Stars double ups, he would have been absolutely making cash. Glenn Maxwell, 2 catches and 20 with the bat, 25 strike rate. I just do not like his role. It's batting 6. He's gotten, I think, 7 catches in the past 3 games. And was so extremely lucky to get to the 20 not out, as well as the fact that it took a couple of wickets in the back end for him to even get a bat at that point, and he had 4 overs to bat. So he was extremely lucky. And with Tom Curran coming back next week, it's not going to impact his batting position, but it might actually positively impact him, to be honest. But I don't think it will. Because I think I think Tom Curran comes in for like a Mark's deputy, but it means that Maxwell won't be bowling. I can 100% say that he won't be bowling if Tom Curran comes back, and it probably negatively influences Marcus Stoinis now thinking about it. Stoinis himself, he had a shocking about 10 minutes where he hit like 2 off 8 balls and basically went from a 160 strike rate to about a 135. I think And so, yeah, he really just did struggle a little bit. You can see it here. He ended up with a 137, sorry. But it was 162, 163. So I think he got like 2 off 8 balls or something. I think it was 47 off 27. And then he had like 1 off 8 balls. Which kind of sucks because that lost him 14 points effectively, if you think about it that way. Cartwright came out and blasted 49 points worth from a 24 off 12. You're not going to see that regularly. Even if he just gets 5 less runs, that's 30 less points there. So I just don't think this batting 5, 6, 7 without any bowling is even sustainable. So that's why guys like Cartwright and Maxwell, I'm really like, they're just going to drop. And we were really... Those who had Maxwell, especially those who had Maxwell captain, probably lucked out that he batted 6, didn't bowl, took 2 catches in the field and was able to get that max strike rate bonus. Peter Siddle, 49. It does suck that the decision for the run out was a little bit subjective between Siddle and Harper. I know that Harper probably was the main influence in it. However, the scoreboard does say that it was run out by Peter Siddle. So it is a little bit disappointing for those Siddle owners that it did get applied to Sam Harper, but it is what it is. I think it was probably the right decision, but I think there can be a little bit more transparency with going with what the scoreboard says or the scorebook says rather than deciding on their own, because there could potentially be biases in there, whereas I don't think the scorebook is going to have as much bias. But yeah, Siddle, he bowled really well and took 2 for and got 10 dot balls, -1 for a wide, I believe. So got 49. 49 is always really good, and it just shows bowlers can easily get some good points in there. Sammy Harper was horrific with the bat, and the ball don't lie. I did text that to a couple of the guys on Twitter when he did get run out, that it was quite funny given he'd gotten the run out applied to him, and we were waiting to see if it would get redistributed at that point, and then he gets run out about 10 minutes later on a horrific... He got sold down the river, and this is what I was saying about batsmen and why Harper's all right because he's cheap and he's a keeper, but batsmen can easily just get sold down the river by their teammate and suddenly they score 1 and there's nothing they can really do about it. So yeah, that's why batters are this is why I'm sort of weighing up almost just going on Warner's ownership for next round's double and just seeing how far it climbs before making that decision, because I might have to cover off Warner, but if Warner's sub 40% or so in the top 5%, top 1%, I may go for it and gun against him because yeah, he feels like that type of guy that could easily just stink it up, I feel like. Simon Mir bowled all right, got a wicket and got an economy rate bonus. He was really, really good, actually. Mark Steckety got a wicket and a couple of dot balls as well, 10 dot balls and 5 economy rate bonus. So again, bowlers just turning out a little bit there. And then you had Lawrence and Rogers. Rogers, that was an absolutely stinker of a shot. Walking across to off stump and then missing a ball on middle leg is horrific. And shows why even batters at like 80, 60, 44k for Rogers now, and he's going to drop even further down. He's going to be min price. Why batters like that are really bad, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets dropped for someone else at this point because he's in such horrific form. Then we go over to the Gades, and the star of the show was Bethel. 49 runs. He did get out right when he was about to score 50, much like the same with Stoinis. Stoinis burned, I think it was something like 24 points. If you just say that he gets to his 50 with a 4 or something like that, max strike rate bonus gets him to, 85 or so? 86 maybe? And he ends up on a 59. Bethel, very, very similar. Got out on 49. I think he dropped a strike rate bonus category as well on it. I think that's the 3rd or 4th time we've seen a guy get out 48, 49. Plus, I think Warner did it the day before as well against the Scorchers, and someone else has done it as well before then this year. A lot of guys missing out on that 10 runs bonus there for the 50, and then also dropping. So they effectively lose 15 points, you could almost say, in one shot, which is quite funny. But Bethel, 49, 10, 3 dot balls when he was bowling. I thought he bowled pretty good. Was just giving away singles pretty much the whole time. and then 2 catches and a run out. I think his role is one of the best in the comp, but we just didn't see it coming, and it looks it's annoying because he's on a single now, and it's like, do you want to grab him up or whatnot? So it'll be interesting. I'm gonna have to, because that's the type of role that can really take it away from you in a single. But also, does he get the ball again is the big question. So him, Paul Walter, guys like Jack Edwards as well. These guys on singles, I'm trying to think of anyone else that doesn't play a double anymore. Who would be on that? Anyone from the Melbourne Stars have the bye. Perth Scorchers don't really have a all-rounder per se. I'm missing someone I want to say. Adelaide Strikers have the bye next week, so not going to get any of their all-rounders. Sydney Sixers don't really have an all-rounder outside of Jack Edwards per se. Brisbane Heat, we talked about Paul Walter, maybe Michael Nasa, but that's probably too early anyway. Perth Scorchers don't have any. Sydney Thunder have the double, don't have any all-rounders anymore anyway. And the Melbourne Renegades have Sutho and also Bethel. It's interesting, and the Stars have the bye in round 8 as well, coming up in a couple of rounds time anyway, so don't know if you want to purchase any Stars anyway, if even the all-rounders, just because I think Stoinis might lose his overs with also Tom Curran coming in. But anyway, Bethel, that's a really, really good role, and him, Paul Walter, I think even Sean Abbott, because if we think about the test match ending today, realistically on the 5th, if we think about that, and we go, when's the next Sixers game? It's on the 9th at the MCG. He can easily get there if this finishes, even tomorrow, this test match. Even the 7th, he'd be able to get there because that would be 2 days. And it looks like we might get Sam Constas for the second game of the double. We could even, if this game finishes today, you could theoretically get Sam Constas, but I don't think they'll do that. Because at the Gabba, he could fly quickly. I don't know what they'll do with that. We'll have to see squads. I think tonight comes out squad. But we'll see what happens with that with regards to squads for that. Because if Sam Constas comes back for the double, holding him might have been the best thing. So we'll just see what happens. If that game finishes before 5 or so, the test game, I wouldn't be surprised if you see potentially Sam Constas named for the Thunder or something like that. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, you're going to get all the test players back in, minus Travis Head and guys like that as well. So that also brings in another sort of thought process about that. Even for the Stars as well, they're going to get Bo Webster, you would expect, back as well as... so Bo Webster almost comes back into consideration. Minus Labuschagne, could he play a role for the Heat with an all-rounder status? Could he get 2 or 3 overs and bat? These are the all-rounders that we're looking at currently as pods that will play singles, but could get 2-3 overs, bat and score well. So anyway, much like I was saying with Bethel, I know I got a little bit sidetracked here, but I was sort of just went on with it because I could. Bethel, that's the role that I'm hunting. And I'm hunting that on a single that has the whole way through, because we know that the Thunder and also the Hobart Hurricanes are the only teams left that play. We know that the Thunder don't have anyone other than Sammy Constas on test duty, if my memory is correct. As Pat Cummins won't come back. We know that Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazelwood won't play for the Sixers, but we do know Steve Smith will. So yeah, that is the big question, is there an all-rounder that comes back from the Oz duty? And do they get back in time if they play singles all the way through? Because I can't really think of anyone. And the Hurricanes, I don't think, have anyone either that I like just yet. Anyway, so yeah, Sandu took 3 for 3 of the scrubbiest wickets that I've seen, I swear. Tommy Rogers missed a straight one. Ben Duckett got caught out in deep mid-wicket in the power play, I believe, just going for it. And then Dan Lawrence gloved it down edged it onto his thigh pad down the leg side. Not the greatest bowling, but like we said with or like I tried to explain with Chris Green, sometimes it just happens. Sometimes you just go for roll, and if they bowl crap and they take wickets. We've seen that so many times. Andrew Tye has made a BBL SuperCoach career of taking 1 for and 2 for in the final over for so many years and collecting 25, 30 points off last overs. He must average something like 20-something points in last overs, Andrew Tye, just because of his massive tendency to pick up a pole off a slow ball, hit out to the deep mid wicket. I still remember that game that I think he took 3 for 5 in the last over or something like that and ended up 3 for 50, or it might have been 2 for 50. And suddenly he's gone from like a 2 or a 3 up to like a 45, and you're just sitting there going, he does not look like he's hit. That bowling performance was not worthy of a 45, especially when they were caught within 2-3 meters of the rope. But that's what can happen. Anyway, so that's Gurinder Sandhu and how death overs and everything, power surge bowling surge can really help. Who are we up next? Jono Wells, 45. He's just a stalwart, simply put. Laurie Evans did basically what Hilton Cartwright did, and it's just not reliable, I don't think, at this point. He's batting, I want to say, let me just double check this. He's batting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the moment. That's just a horrific position to bat, simply put, in my opinion. Then you have Tommy Rogers, took a pole and 9 dot balls. Could have easily had a catch to get rid of Maxwell in the second or third last over, which would have dramatically changed the game. He would have got up to 39 as well in this, as well as Will Sutherland getting a wicket as well and got Will Sutherland into the 30s. Plus, also, I think it would have made Tommy Rogers his job a lot easier in the last over, and he could have potentially picked up a pole or two there, and somehow, suddenly that 29, when you think about it, if he gets that Maxwell wicket, gets to a 39, potentially takes another pole, that's suddenly a 60. Just like that, potentially takes another, I don't know what his strike rate, his economy rate was at the time, 37, so not going to get anything there. Potentially gets, ends up with 2 for or 3 for, and suddenly that is the scrubbiest 80 you will see. And that's how bowlers, like I was saying with Tye, if they bowl death, if they bowl in the surge, especially seamers with long boundaries, can easily just start picking up poles. Quite easily caught in the deep. Seifert was glad that he got bowled on 17 off 15, was looking at a strike rate bonus if he'd hit that reverse sweep away for 4, which would have been annoying for the Philippine owners especially, because Sam Harper was seemingly the only keeper that got away, but he got away for 41. Half the people that have Sam Harper in the top 5% have him on the bench anyway, so hopefully they have guys like a Billings or something like that ahead. Hopefully people had pre-planned for that and sort of Billings stuffed up. That's sort of my hope, and that it didn't burn me as much having Philippe DMP. As all the keepers that are owned have sort of failed outside of Harper to a certain degree, but Harper didn't go nuts. It's been, the biggest keeper was Ben Duckett with 87, but he's only 4% owned. And then Will Sutherland struggled with the bat to a certain degree, and then with the ball just created that Maxwell chance. It just wasn't taken. The Maxwell chance is the difference between him getting realistically, that's the difference between him going and actually getting, he would have got a 10 economy rate bonus most likely. 10 economy rate bonus, a wicket, and another dot, maybe 2 more dots there. So that's another 22, 32. 32 onto that, that's an easy 48, and that is just how one ball can change it so much. I think, 48 easily. So Fraser McGurk, out of form, just doesn't look himself. Looks like he's almost solving a problem and creating another one himself. Josh Brown, he had 2 mid-offs in the space of about 4 balls and still almost got out 5 times or something in that time. He was just not on yesterday. Adam Zampa bowling a lot to Mark Destoinis, his best mate, but it was good to see him in blank, given that he's so highly owned. He was one of the important blanks, I have a feeling, throughout the comp, given, for me especially, because he's like 50-something% owned in the top 5%, I think. Let me just double check that for you guys. Top 5%. We'll just check this here. Adam Zampa, 57.7% owned. 30% have him on the bench, but I'm guessing a lot would have him with the loop on. But still 70% of 57.7. I want to say is still a good, let me actually just check that. 0.7 times 57.7 is 40% of people having him on field for a 4. Alongside the Philippi and the other Sixers and Brisbane Heat donuts, as well as Turner's donut and some other low scores. I have a feeling that, like Billings here as well. Salzman didn't play, Sam's got knocked out, etc. Even Constus as well on field for most people, etc. There's quite a lot of donuts in the top bit as well here. You can see also 30% owned for both Renshaw and Spencer Johnson on field. That's a big blow here. Baisley might not even play. So yeah, huge blows there in terms of that as well. But anyway, I think that's pretty much that. I don't think there was anyone else to talk about in terms of the this game here. I mean, Xavier Crome, but we sort of know that. He's was on for Fergus O'Neill, got dropped in this game, which I was kind of actually surprised about. I don't think you drop premier bowlers like that, so pretty poor from the Renegades. But yeah, it is what it is, and yeah, we'll see how this plays out in the last game of the round. I'm hoping I'm in a really good position. I hope you guys are in a really good position. I hope some of you did end up following me on Twitter, and yeah, you can follow me on Twitter with this here. Crybaroom35 there. You'll see that I did post about the, where is it? I did post about the likes of the Chris Green decision. Yeah, here, I think. Oh, and then I post quite a lot about the test match anyway. But yeah, you'll see all my sort of last second changes and stuff like that, as I do talk a lot with other content creators and stuff like that, and we make sort of more informed decisions, I feel like. But anyway, that is the video there. A long one here, but I felt like I was able to explain the reasoning behind a lot of the decisions and stuff like that around. I felt like I gave a better product there in terms of explaining why guys are on my radar, why they're not, and why some guys can get away from you, and how it doesn't really matter to a certain extent. Like Ben Duckett going off, like I remember watching it last night and going, how many are owned by John Wells in the top 5% or 1%? And I looked at it, there was not one owner. I just went, well, I could care less. He could smack the ball around, because you're not going up against my bowlers. You're not holding back really any batters that are like Will Sutherland, 93% owned. He's owned by most people. It was kind of actually good that he didn't get that strike rate bonus to really get that captaincy score up. So I was sort of like, he can do what he wants. But anyway, that's the video there. If you did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on YouTube, and then if you're listening on Spotify, give me a follow over there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the last game recap, as well as the other 2 videos to finish off the in-between round as we do the preview. I'll do a preview/review of my team, like a review of all the trades and stuff. Of the round, and then a preview of the trades that I'm going to do, and then I'll also do a trade targets video, as we'll look at the about 2 or 3 Thunder players that you want, because there's just no one now that they had that head clash, and then also the all-rounders, as I was saying throughout this video. But anyway, I'll see you guys in that video there. Bye guys.